Good evening. Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk. My name is Emmanuel Odeke, and today is the 30th of the month of the Lord in May. So I should say by tomorrow we should be in June, and so you don't need to look so far, but by tomorrow we'll be in June, and today we should be able to wind up with May. A lot is happening around the corner, and just keep your ears on the ground and you should be able to get to know what exactly is happening. Early this week, the president signed on the bills. It was not only one bill, but surprisingly it's the one which is making a lot of noise. But in total, he signed on a number of them, and there were six bills that the president signed on. And if you want to know them, one is the Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023. The second is the Markets Act 2023. The third is the Uganda Human Organ Donation and Transplant Bill 2023. The Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions Amendment Act 2023. The Museums and Monuments Act 2023, the Law Reform Miscellaneous Amendments Act 2023. Those are the six bills that the president has signed into law. So by Thursday, I'm sure they will enter the Gazette, and if you found the culprit of any of them, you will have to pay a penalty for why you did so. And so the ones for the anti-homosexuality are very clear, and if you are found, then that should be you to pay the price for that. However, today we'll be discussing the current update. What is happening around Namugongo? We have 4 days to go, and the celebration will be going on. Others will be going to the Roman Catholic site, and then others will be going to the Anglican site. So that is all happening this Saturday. And so we want to get an update from somebody, from an insider, so that we get to know exactly what is happening inside there, what to do, when to do it, how to do it when you get there, what do you need to know before you go there, what do you need to know while inside there, things like that. And so today with me in the studio is Engineer Enock Rukundo. Engineer Enock Rukundo is the admin, he's the administrator of the Uganda Martyrs Museum. Engineer, would you like to greet our viewers before we can dive to the discussion?
A great evening to you all viewers on this Family TV, our Church of Uganda platform. I'm so delighted to be here this evening as we discuss especially about the status of the martyrs, preparations, and how we are seeing the pilgrims flocking on our site in big numbers to have a different kind of celebrations, especially this year, 2023. Yeah.
So, I don't know, do you have the statistics of the people who have so far entered, or they are still popping in every minute?
The numbers are increasing every other day. Yesterday we had dioceses like Busoga Diocese, Mitiana Diocese, Central Uganda, coming in. And then this evening we had people from North Kigezi coming in. So we have over 1,000 who are stationed. However, pilgrims are moving all through. People are coming in to tour the museum, people are coming in to take the holy water, and it's one of a kind, especially now that they were aware that we are going to have the open. Unlike last year where the country was informed on the last minute, just a month to when you're told organize. But now we are having the Eastern Cluster dioceses. These are over about 10 dioceses that are combining
from the east.
From the east, and among those we have from Sebei Diocese, we have Bukedi, we have Karamoja, North Karamoja Diocese, we have Busoga, Central Busoga, and then dioceses like Kumi, Mbale, North Mbale Diocese. So all those 10 are working together to see that we have a great kind of unique celebrations this year. But the chairman for the organizing cluster, that is Bishop Samuel Egesa for Bukeri Diocese, together with the chairperson of the SEC. SEC is Central Executive Committee, led by the Right Honorable Rebecca Litwala Kadaga. They are working so much to see that those who are coming in having a good time, especially for these celebrations of the Eastern Cluster they are organizing.
What is so unique about this particular organization this year? Is there something that we should expect? What makes this year so unique from the other years?
A lot of preparations have been going on, but what makes it outstanding is even what we are going to launch this year.
What are we launching?
The amphitheater, the pavilion that seats over 20,000 people is going to be utilized for the first time. Over the years, we have been having celebrations, but pilgrims or tourists who come to our site don't get a comfortable site to sit and pray from. You know, they're in open space, and then when it rains, it becomes a problem. Then when it is too hot again, you find them extending away from the service leaders, which is really not proper. So we thank God that this year we are having our amphitheater unveiled, and the Eastern Cluster is going to be the first one to utilize it. So that's why people out there, Ugandans and non-Ugandans, people out there, international ones, are moving in, basically to be part of us as we make this history in the making, to be part of us as we celebrate the milestone that God has brought us. Namugongo has been transforming. It has been changing. For those who are there now, who can come to site and witness, this is a site that is transforming from just mere being a 3rd June celebration day to a world-class faith-based tourist site. So we are having in all the buildings coming, the new structures. When one comes to that site, we already have a museum core site. Now Namugongo, this is the holy land of Uganda. This is a place which is not an ordinary site. This was an open gate to heaven to some of these people, the Uganda Martyrs. They were burnt in fire and received in glory. So this is a site which very many people come to and get a special attachment, knowing that this is a site where most, it's one of a kind in the world all over, where a group of people were put together and set on fire because of their faith in God. And that's why when we are having tourists at our site and they talk about, these are Uganda Martyrs, they said, no, these are no longer Uganda Martyrs. These are international martyrs. These are people who were killed here, but their impact is beyond Uganda.
Talking about the amphitheater, that sounds huge English for some of us who've been to the other schools of ours. You know the schools that I'm talking about. Tell us exactly about this. Maybe who knows, this could be something someone would come expecting to have a feel of. What is an amphitheater? Where is it located for someone who has had previously the geographical knowledge of the Namugongo, but the old then Namugongo and not the current?
Basically, the amphitheater is a pavilion, a seating, just like a stadium, where you sit properly. We have the terraces, and this is a structure that has been organized in 3 sections. So we are believers, we are Christian believers, so we believe in Trinity. When you look at even the design, we have the podium. The podium in our Christian setting, like an altar, where the Archbishop and the House of Bishops, the service leaders sit. And then it is connected with walkways that take you to the VIP. So the VIP section, that's the section that is roofed, and then there are seats, no comfortable seats for one to sit. And these are permanently fixed seats that are there. They're not going to be removed after the day. They are going to be there, and they sit over 3,000 people.
That is the
VIP area
section
alone.
Won't they be affected by weather, and more so our beautiful weather of Uganda?
Not really. It was made in a way that it is open either sides, so there is no point of heat, and also there is a roof over it. And even you look at the roof, we have the transparent iron sheets that give a proper light and display. If one is there at the side, you can see a different world. And that was all a dream of the late Archbishop Livingstone Mpalanyi Nkoyoyo.
Wow.
That people sit comfortably. And also even the president as a person, when you're there addressing your people and you see them move, that isn't the best that you would wish for Ugandans. Then we have another section, just upper, those are the open terraces. We realized we cannot remove all those trees, so we needed to create, within the trees, we create terraces so that we keep the environment. The trees can give the natural shade. And that's what we did, and actually they sit a bigger number. So in total, that is over 20,000. So this is like a stadium. And when one is there, you can be able to have a good environment to pray from.
I'm happy you didn't tamper with the trees. I am a huge fan of nature, and anybody who tampers with the trees it doesn't do me well. All right. So let's have a small bit and look into the museum. Has something changed in the museum? What happens? And then how do we access the museum on a day like that? Is it accessible anyway?
The museum is open, and we call upon people to come and appreciate. You see, when we talk about our faith, there are people that sowed the seed of Christianity to what we are here today. There are people that paid the price for the gospel that we enjoy. Right now, no one is forced, to believe. But there are people who actually had to give their all. These were young people like St. Chizito, who was 14 years old, who had a long life ahead, who probably would have chosen to let go of the Christian belief that they believed in, but they chose a harder path for what we are here today. So when one comes to the museum, first of all, you get to see the level of sacrifice of these young people who gave their all, and that was life. What more can you give than life? So basically, we look at we reflect on the lives of the martyrs, and also check ourselves as the personal walk of Christianity that we go through. Namugongo was established way back in 1760. When you mention of Namugongo, basically people's minds run to martyrs. But actually want to pull them back. This was a site established in 1760, and its main purpose basically was to be used as an execution center for anyone that disobeyed the king. So from 1760 to martyrs being executed in 1886, that site was already, used. Very many people that even died from there, that even don't have a count of. Why? Because people had a certain way of belief. People had a certain way of how they used to pray. And that was, a king was a god, the traditional African belief. The king was our god. And we had also these small gods, we call them the Luvales. So when you hear names today like the Chibukas, the Chiwanukas, the Musoke, the Mosisi, those were the names of our small gods way back.
Now, that means that place is not just a place for the... How many martyrs, particularly the Anglican shrine?
Killed over there, those are 13 Anglicans.
For the Anglican shrine?
And 12 Catholics.
So Anglicans 13? and then
Catholic.
12 are Roman Catholics.
Yeah.
So that gives us a total of
25.
25.
And one martyr killed at the Catholic shrine. That is Charles Lwanga.
So one martyr
One martyr.
only was at
He died on the way to our site, the Anglicans.
so he did not actually reach
He
there.
did not reach, but he was meant to reach. So when people reach at the Catholic shrine and you don't reach at the Anglican, you have not reached the final destination. You are a Charles Lwanga. A Charles Lwanga. So basically, a journey.
Now that is the Charles Lwanga. How about these others who are taken by the pork before they get to the Charles Lwanga?
They're taken by, unlike us Anglicans, opposite, we have even a mosque.
Wow.
So there are some things that actually can't happen near our side.
Okay.
So you can't have pork, you can't have what, because of the environment.
Okay.
But when you look at the life of the martyrs, we have a reflection. The ecumenism, the unity these young people displayed. That even when some were Catholic, and this is what you see in the museum. When you reach there, you will see the stone His Holiness Pope Francis laid when he came to Uganda. Because as a museum, we put content. We don't put what belongs to only us. These martyrs, some were Catholics, some were Anglicans. They never allowed their differences in the belief take away the common cause. So there was so much focus, and that's what we also want, that whoever comes, we welcome them very well, regardless of where they're coming from. There's a saying that if you love God, then you don't love a portion of His people. We are one, and that's what we reflect in the museum. So the journey, Charles Lwanga dying on the way, it was a journey that all came from Munyonyo. The martyrs killed in Namgongo moved from Munyonyo to Namgongo, a place over 15 kilometers. And you see people are coming, even now they are walking. Why they walk is not because they don't have a means of transport, they don't have money. These are people who want to walk at the footsteps of the Uganda Martyrs. They want to feel the pain these young people were subjected when they moved far places to come and reach Namgongo. And that's why they move. But the difference is these martyrs were subjected to so much pain and torture by the soldiers of the king. And that was Kabaka Mwanga, who ordered these young people to be brought to this site in Namugongo after giving them a chance to denounce, and they failed. So along the way, because of the torture, they failed to walk. Now, according to the soldiers, they call them the Bamboas in Uganda. For them, they felt these people are big-headed. How do you fail to walk? You have to reach by force. So what they used to do, tie your legs, then drag you on your back. So the back is Mogongo. The back is Mogongo. So you reach, the blood is flowing, the bones are exposed. One was compelled to ask, how have these people managed to reach here? In Uganda, then the reply, Mugongo.
So the direct translation to English,
these martyrs have reached on their backs.
So they have reached with
on their
back.
backs. Yes. So the back, even in Swahili, is Mugongo, our local language. So meaning, how have they managed to reach? They have come on their backs. They have reached on their backs. So the name even of the site shows you the painful experience these young people went through. But we reflect at these matters and see a journey of faith, a journey of courage, a journey of inspiration, and a journey that there's always a price that has to be paid for the gospel. And these were young people who were moved, and then they were subjected in the hands of the chief executor. That is Mukajanga. So Mukajanga was basically a chief executor, a commander, actually who all the blame goes to. In Buganda, I don't say king killed. Kings don't shed blood. It was Mukajanga who did the killing.
When we return from the break, we'll be getting more and more about the Martyrs' Day celebration. Don't tamper touching the remote. Welcome back from that short break. We are still here, and I'm still here with Enock Rukundo, and we are looking at the current updates. What is happening now? What you expect to see when you go to Namugongo? I am sure most of the people today reach on their foot while walking, but then the young people in those times and days did not reach on their foot. They reached with their backs. That is why you hear the word Batuka Namugongo. They reached with their backs because they couldn't walk. They got tired. The journey from Munyonyo to Namugongo, that's about 15 kilometers. Some of them got tired after a serious whipping along the way. So the soldiers thought these guys were bunyomi, they're underlooking them. So they fastened their feet together and dragged them up to Namugongo with their backs. Unfortunately, one of them couldn't reach the Anglican shrine. He died at the Roman Catholic shrine, and that is the one who is called Charles Luanga.
Yeah.
So Charles Luanga couldn't reach the Anglican shrine where most of the others were being killed.
Yes.
So we are still digging deep and further into the history there and what you need to know when you get there, so that you don't just be a mere goer, but you understand what happens inside there. And I'm still here with the engineer, Enock Rukundo, who is the administrator of the Uganda Martyrs Museum. Engineer, so we're still discussing. Now they leave Munyonyo. What is in Munyonyo? I am told there is a point.
Yeah.
Was there a persecution center as well in Munyonyo?
Yeah, there are some martyrs who were killed, 3 of them in Munyonyo, Catholic martyrs. So, and there are martyrs all over Uganda. Those sites are also being developed, and the process are ongoing, because the ones executed in Namugongo were those who used to work within the palace of a king. So it was a privilege to work in a palace. So these were royal pages. However, there were people, when the hunting started for those who are not believing in Christianity, there are those who are found from where they are. We have Matia Mulomba at Old Kampala, we have Balikudemba at Owino, there are martyrs in Mitiana. You see, now when they waged war, there was someone called Kunsa Mukajanga stationed in Namugongo to handle those special people close to the king. But Kunsa was in charge of those people who were, once they get information, he had even soldiers called Abagwira in Uganda. It means they land on you. So once they hear that someone's at Old Kampala, Matia Mulomba has turned to Christianity, they send his group. So they send the soldiers, the Bagwira, to run after you. And that's why there's even that saying in Uganda, because there are people who actually survived. They moved across, waters, and when you have crossed and you're so tired, you find their friends already prepared them food and refreshment. So because of the, the tiresome journey of escaping from the soldiers of Kunsa, they ended up eating so fast. So when someone says, Kunsa, actually they're saying, go a little bit slow.
Your speed is threatening.
The speed is threatening. So there are martyrs everywhere. But these ones where the main celebrations happens, where the majority of the martyrs were executed, and that is Namugongo. And
the martyrs being celebrated are particularly the ones who died for faith.
For faith.
But I want to know a bit further about the execution point before. Is there any history written about the other people who were being executed and murdered in Namugongo between 1760 and
1886? Very many people were killed for one reason or the other. Reason that the king was everything. You disobey such a king. And where killings started, execution, was because by 1760, one of the king called King Chavagu, the 25th king of Buganda, conquered areas around Buganda. That was Busoga, Bunyoro. He wanted to take over. So he realized not everyone believed in him. And some people are a threat to his kingdom. So he created this special site, Namugongo. Actually, that's why Bishop James Hannington was killed. On his way to Buganda, he used Busoga. And in a village called Chando, he was executed. Most of the missionaries, when they're coming to Uganda, they were using the Tanzania route, the Nika, to come into. So the big man didn't know that someone had ordered anyone coming from the eastern direction to Buganda, that is an enemy to us. You see. So, very many people know why these matters outstanding. The reason was faith. But very many people were killed that actually you can't know of how many.
And the reasons, some are unexplainable.
Some are unexplainable. But the king had all authority because he was God to him. And now these are young people who are even praying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, thy kingdom come. Is there another kingdom taking over Buganda? Kabaka Mwanga was just 18 years old. Very young. And for him, he thought anytime they're taking over. Much as they were doing the good, missionaries preached the gospel, they taught people how to read and write, they built the schools, the traditional schools, the hospitals, Mengo Hospital, you see, Sir Albert Cook and so on. So they did all that, but the gospel was a threat to the kingdom at that time.
Was it because of ignorance, or it was something that
basically, he was young in leadership, but also he was misled by the advisors, the chiefs that were around him, who saw that because his father, Kavaka Mutesa, one who welcomed them, he had no problem with these missionaries. So when one comes to Namugongo, you're able to see the different artifacts, because we have put sculptures in the various places to depict and tell a story of what happened in those exact places. So we don't distort history. You want to see martyrs who spent a whole week being tortured. That is at Namugongo Museum.
From Munyonyo.
From Munyonyo
to Namugongo.
Trekking to Namugongo.
There is another spot somewhere along Salama Road. Ponciano something.
Ponciano. Ponciano. Yes.
The Roman Catholics have actually put their church.
All those sites are being improved. Reason being, you're dropping a martyr's tree. When you look at Namugongo, this was like a climax. After the killing on 3rd June, there was no more killing of people, martyrs in Namugongo. Okay, they made the closure. They said no more killing. The rest were killed later in 1912. Those were in Acholi, the Catholic martyrs. So we are in a process of developing a martyrs trail whereby you move a whole journey, identifying those that we also appreciate their level of sacrifice and commitment to the Christian faith that we believe today.
All right, so let's discuss a bit about the museum. Is it, for those who are coming for the Martyrs' Day celebration, is it free of charge? Is there some others about this to part with a few coins to access the place, and then something of that kind?
One, our museum is complete, Uganda Martyrs Museum. However, because of a dream to develop the entire site to a world-class faith-based tourist point, we need a lot of support. We thank the government that is giving tremendous support, because whatever we do, government gives us 30%. And every financial year, there's money that comes to Namugongo. And personally, His Excellency and the government, through Ministry of Finance, works that even come and supervise, Ministry of Tourism, that they are to support. Now, because of that, we need to raise the 70%. Now the 70 comes through tourists that come in, also to maintain, but also to help to contribute to the development of the site. The 70% comes from you, from me, from the international tourists that come in, from the pilgrims that come in. So our rates are always 10,000 Ugandans, adults, and 5 for the children, and 20,000 for the internationals. Realize English is expensive.
Yeah.
You need to raise a little.
Yeah.
But towards seasons like this, martyr celebrations, we don't want to, keep. We want also to do an adjustment to allow very many people that come in to enter. So we do a drop So you find now we're charging an adult at 5, and then the child at 3,000, and that's what is taking place within this 1 week. So we want people to come and be part of that. Once you support and you give in, you're supporting the developments
of the place.
Now the amphitheater is complete, but then we have a museum tower complex that we are yet to put,
which is not
site.
Yet, which is still a dream.
Not yet, which is a dream. The dream was categorized into 3 phases. We had the first phase where we had to develop the museum core site. We had to build a boundary wall around the site, which was done with even a big mega gate, main entry, that allows you to enter to the site. We had 2 big public toilets. You know, these are 60 stances, each of them, to accommodate the numbers. And then now, that was the first phase. We had to work on the drainage. Now, in the second phase, we're looking at the amphitheater to allow people that come sit properly, and this is what we have done in the last 1.5 years with the support of the government. And now, where we're heading, the museum tower. The museum tower is to enrich the museum core site that is in place. Besides the Martyrs, what is there? We realize there's a need to preserve our cultural heritage. People come from different angles, different countries, different parts of Uganda. So when you're coming from the north, we want you to know your culture when you reach there. So we want to bring diversity, so that when you come, there's a lot you learn from the site. So it is a 7-story structure, museum tower, that we are going to put. We have already created a space, because among the things that we have done this year, last year actually, that we did, was to relocate the school. We had to create space for the tower.
Which school have you relocated?
Was
the theological school, or was it a primary school?
There was a primary school, not in good shape. It's called Namugongo Mixed School, which was there, not looking good. Okay, not pleasant. We could do much more.
Better.
And that is why we created it a certain place to create space for the tower. So it was built within 3 months. And there's a site called Namirembe Farmland, and we thank the Bishop of Namirembe, who gave us 2 acres to relocate, and it was built over there. Now we have an open space. When you come on site, you look at the open, that we are ready for the tower. All we are doing is to lobby support. So as we complete these other structures down, including the parish church that is also taking shape, then we are looking at, by the end of this year, we are commencing on that.
I was actually going to ask you, what is happening to the parish church, which was the Uganda Martyrs?
There was a small church.
Because it was a small, but...
very tiny, and we don't believe in tiny things. Okay? Because we have the amphitheater, which is global. Now you attach it to a small church. So there was need to, even has another floor up. So at the moment we are on the first floor. So people will be seated even up. The terraces have been casted. We only have paused the construction for this 1 week because of the numbers of pilgrims. No more trucks coming in. Security has taken over. So we shall eventually resume the construction of that church. Some of the projects are ongoing on site. So when you reach Namugongo, if you don't have the guides in place, you can even get lost. And that is why we are there, to make you comfortable, because this is once a dream. And we appreciate the development committee led by Bishop Jackson Matovu, the chairman, that walked into the footsteps of the late Archbishop Livingstone to make sure he's completing the dream. And he's doing so much, and within his timeline, you can really see great works that have taken place at the site.
How ready are we? How ready are we for the thousands, for the millions of pilgrims coming in, particularly the places of convenience?
Yes.
Because if that is not ready, then humans are humans. They will always find a place.
Yeah. Basically, like I said, we are launching this, and when you look at pilgrims coming in, wow, we thank God that people are actually seeing and appreciating because the moment you come, then you appreciate the level of sacrifice of the martyrs. Basically, the organizers through, because it's a provincial, it's a Church of Uganda organizing, and every year the province appoints someone. Now the Eastern cluster is working so hard. When you look at the last weekend, we had even ministries start. We had the children's ministry on Saturday, this Saturday, which was 27th. On the 28th, we had the young people. Now we had over 2,000 children in that place, and we had over 1,000 young people gathered there, being ministered to in a way that fits the needs of the young person today. Why? We don't want them to die like the martyrs, but want them to be witnesses of Christ. That whatever God, a blessing that has been able put upon them, they use it as a blessing to others. Martyrs gave their lives. What can you give? So these are young people that have the energy, the zeal, and that's what we saw, that the young people celebrating. After all, even the martyrs were young, since it was 14 years. So why not be? So we have done that. We are, this whole week, there are exhibitions going on. And they are doing this to give value and skill to pilgrims that are coming in. You have the big numbers, how to utilize and make the best out of it. So they are coming, but then there are exhibitions that are ongoing, so that they learn a particular skill. These are science and technology. You know, we're having the different organizations, different companies like MTN, Unilever, you know, taking it up, and this is all going to be running through. However, on the 1st of June, we have the Fathers Ministry. These are fathers and Christian men who will gather over there, and they expect over 2,000 from all the different churches in Uganda. So mobilization are going on to make sure that the fathers have a great time, their own day, to have a great ministry over there. Then on the 2nd, they're organizing for the mothers, the mother of our nation, and these are the mothers. So basically, they'll have a great day. Mothers normally get huge numbers compared to the fathers, but I pray that this year we you know, put that off. You know, fathers are busy working.
Fathers are hunting for money.
Hunting for money, but we need them. On the 1st of this June,
which is tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow, but one, we pray that they come in big numbers to tackle topics, because this is the head of the home, and they need really to learn a lot, especially as we reflect from the journey of the faithful martyrs. So our theme is United for Sustainability of Service and Growth. Unity for sustainable service and growth, and is running from the theme Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 to 16. So we'll even have ministries are even ongoing for people to even know the update of what is taking place. Those that are coming in, they're not there, you know, received, and they just sit over there. There are prayers, morning glory is going on at 7. There are lunch hour sessions at 1 to 2. Then the evening sessions that are going on, worship session. So already there are priests on the ground that are ministering, the mission team ministering to the pilgrims that do come in time, basically to seek God. So even as you're moving around the museum, you'll find in the museum there's a church and there's a priest to pray for you. So one, we want to satisfy and, you know, reach the desire of someone who has moved that distance to reach Namugongo. And on that 2nd of night of June, we shall have an overnight. A powerful overnight that will be ushering into the 3rd June Martyrs Day celebrations. So a lot in store. When you look at the venue, the site is ready. The amphitheater is all glittering. And when you reach here, you see the glory of God reflected.
Very interesting things here. At some point, the president of Uganda said, he's a sleeping giant. I want to hope that the giant has woken up. And if the giant has woken up, then we hope for big and better things. And I like the way the giant has woken up.
Now that we slept for a long time, then we are not going to sleep anymore.
You woke up with the giant woke up with full energy,
exactly,
and full board.
Yeah.
We are not looking behind. We are on the thing, and we are pursuing it to the very, very, very end. The Bible says we are heads and not tails, and so we can't afford to look back. One other thing that keeps people flocking, I always see people with jerrycans. Has the amphitheater tampered with the people's water?
One unique feature on our site is that water. As an Anglican, I'm tempted to say holy water. And there's a lot of theological, analysis upon that word, holy water. But it is termed holy water depending on one's faith. Especially our brothers, because they believe the blood of the saints, after killing the martyrs from up there at the museum, they used to slop and wash blood from themselves. Now the blood is considered to be of saints. This is holy. So the holy blood was washed in the water became holy water. So that is according to one's belief. But then you find the people who are coming in jerrycans. It's Catholics who are coming to take that water, believing for miracles, healing, and so on. So as we were doing the amphitheater, it was within our mind states. And actually, last year, we didn't allow people to collect the holy water in the courts, holy water. They want to be quoted. But because of the construction. But even as we were doing, as the structural engineers, all we were doing is to make sure there's no contamination, that the water is as intact and good as it is. Just a few uplift. When you reach there, we have waterfalls, not added to the beauty, but a position where that water comes from was retained and magnified. So even the collection point, because we couldn't put a collection point with the same area within the service where it happens. So you can see the exact spot, the sculpture there to tell you what happened there, but then we pushed water to a certain collection point away from the area where people pray, and also to put it on a better standard. However, we do the ancient to reflect how it used to how the water wells, springs used to look like, not the modern, sprinkling water. So it is there, and it's also getting people who missed last year really are moving in. And when you see people on the ground, they are all flocking with jerrycans to partake of that water in place. It never dries. It's groundwater, God-given. Actually, also putting the amphitheater, it was a huge cost to put water, to put such a structure strong that will last for ages in that same environment. And then we also had to play around with the same terrain, what existed, so that we just improve on the structure. So a lot is taking place because people are coming in to be part of history as we be there for the first time, but also to take that water. And these are some of the developments. When you reach there, the roads are being tarmacked and so on. So as the Eastern Cluster, the organizers, they are set. When you reach there, the medical camp is on ground. We want some people like the Red Cross, Mengo Hospital. They are there to give. Ministry of Health is there to give the first aid. The ambulances are into sight, so they are ready to receive and give a few refreshments. We have had companies that are there to give water, like Jibu water is there all over. And Riham has brought biscuits, water. I don't want to mention them all. We have Pepsi. Because when you mention, you may forget some and say, this one never
didn't mention us.
Those are all, a lot is taking place. Security is on the ground, proper security, okay? And, we talk of security, police force has very many units. We have the intelligence on the ground, we have traffic, people are doing that, and they have even already given the outline of how people are going to move from the different directions. And then they even designate the parking areas which are already set for the VVIP, for the chief guest we expect to come, for the VIP, and then for the ordinary. So all those parties are working. SFC is also coming in to chip in, and also there are people in the internal security, the intelligence, crime intelligence. So they are already on ground. They have camped. There is a command post over there, and they are doing for the sake of keeping us safe, that we shall have a successful day and everyone will live in happy. We don't want any more martyrs. So they are ready to receive the big numbers.
Sometimes Ugandans, when they see forces in the uniforms, they are tempted to get scared. But just know and have it in your mind that these brothers are there to keep security, to protect you. They are not there to harm you. They're just there to take care of you and make sure things are right. Is there anything you want to let us know before we can sign out? We have about 2 minutes to sign out of the show.
Basically, to call upon Ugandans who are ready, and also to pray for those who are trekking. You know, there have been accidents along the way. In the news, you can see it over there, but we pray for them. They had a scenario where, you know, the road had issues, especially people from the west, but then that was rectified and people are moving in. So we want them to be part. However, we also pray for those who are out there thinking of, you know, planning of how to spoil the event. Security is on the ground. They should not bother to appear because we want to have a peaceful celebration this year, one of a kind, in the highest number. So that's why security is all the sweeping is starting tomorrow. Everyone will be out, and then the sniff dogs will do their part. Whatever construction we're doing, we paused. So I want also to thank Family TV. You're always on the ground to see and walk with us the journey of transforming Namugongo from where we are to where it is. And Family TV has been with us. We normally do, we even had a launch of the Seed of Faith, and Family TV was with us. So we thank Family TV and all the viewers for being with us as we mark history. This is history in the making. Launching of the amphitheater this 3rd June. Be part of it.
You don't want to miss this celebration this year at Namugongo, the Uganda Martyrs. Be there for yourself, and I want to encourage you, when you get there, make time off and enter the museum. That 5K may seem big, but that should be Chikomando for a day and it is gone. But if you invest it to history, you will get out of that museum rich in your mind, and you will never remain the same.
Actually, when you give 5K or 10,000, that's just a portion of what God has blessed you.
Exactly.
Now reflect the martyrs who gave their life. What more painful is that? Fire, people being burned, and you're rejoicing even in the fire.
See, exactly. So I'm very sure Family TV will be here to bring you all the latest updates that will be going on right in the Anglican shrine. Others prefer to call it site, but whichever way you understand what I mean. So we'll definitely get you the latest updates. Come tomorrow, come until it is 3rd, so that we have a very peaceful celebration. I hope that there are plans for people who may fail to get means back to their homes.
Yeah, we do plan for that, but we don't encourage people to come and remain behind. No, but in a case.
Just in case.
In a case, that's what mission is there to do.
Okay.
To make sure that there is a small facilitation.
To see off some people.
And all that.
Okay.
So we're looking into it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Enock, for coming through.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
It has been a clean update, and I'm sure people who have been following us know what will be happening in Namugongo. So the sweeping is not always sweeping is clearance for security. Everybody leaves the place, and then the sniff dogs get in to make sure the place is safe. No bombs, no whatever. That is what the sniff dogs do. They get in there and check everything to the knot. And I can assure you, you'll be extremely safe when you are in Namugongo from tomorrow until 3rd, when the celebrations will take place. For God and my country, thank you for keeping it. Church of Uganda Family TV. Till next Tuesday.